Hello there my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. And guys, all I'm asking is just that Jenny goes one day, just one day, without making a complete arse of herself. And guys, this episode's going to tell you what you already knew. That's not possible. It would appear that it's actually part of her genetic makeup. It's part of Jenny's DNA. Yes, that's right, we're talking about Jenny and Sumit. This is 90 Day Fiance the Other Way, Season 3, Episode 8. And this episode sees Sumit's parents move in with Jenny and Sumit, so that they have a closer vantage point from which to terrorise Jenny. Very quickly before we begin, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to my channel. Don't miss any of my videos. And to all of those who have subscribed thus far, a massive thank you. I really do appreciate it. And if you enjoyed the video today, please don't forget to smash the like button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, so that each time I drop a video, you guys don't miss it. So without further ado, I give you Jenny and Sumit. So we first catch up with these guys and they're on the way to see a family counsellor. And it turns out all four of them are going. Sumit's parents will too join in the fun. And Jenny explains, I now know we need outside help to tell us what to do. Oh guys, this is what I've been waiting for. Hi Jenny, the eBird's an outsider. She'll tell you what to do. Go back to America with immediate effect. That's what you should do. And as for Sumit, go directly to jail. Do not pass go and do not collect £200. Oh, don't mention it. I always like to be as of much help as I can be. Oh, you know me, always giving friendly advice, always a pleasure and never a chore. But then Jenny tells us she's worried about meeting Sumit's parents, and that's due to their last meeting, in which Sumit's mum clarified her position on their forthcoming nuptials by threatening to take her life if it happened. And on the way to the meeting, as per usual, Jenny tells Sumit this is our last chance. I feel like if this doesn't work, there's nowhere else to go. This really has to work. This is our last option. Are you serious, Jenny? You say this every single day and with every single problem. I've got a feeling that your last chance will also be your last breath. Jenny's not going anywhere anytime soon. And if you guys remember, Jenny said it was their very last chance to make their relationship work when Sumit got divorced. She also said it was their very last chance when they went to meet the astrology guy. You remember? The one that had worked for Sumit's dad for 30 years. You know, the one that made shit up. She also said it was their last chance when she tried to join the Hare Krishna movement in order to secure a visa via becoming a missionary. Jenny states it's their last chance. Every 3 to 5 working days, this means nothing. And so they arrived at the counselling centre, and what happened next had me in absolute stitches. Guys, I fully rate Sumit's mum, because regardless of what happens, she always seems to be one step ahead of Jenny. Sumit's mum and dad are already there, and guys, I fully believe that she's dropped poison in the counsellor's ear, one way or another. It's fair to say Jenny won't have got a good at it. They walk in and say namaste. And Sumit's mum said to producers, Sumit suggested we go to see a counsellor, and I jumped at the chance because I think he'll start to understand a few things. And she looks like the cat that got the cream. And she says, Jelte, let's go. Guys, Sumit's mum's ready. She's ready for Jenny. And so the counsellor begins. And she asks his mum, what do you think when you see the two of them together? And Sumit's mum looked down her nose. She looked to the left and to the right, and she pursed her lips. And finally she said, nothing good. And his dad said, my son wants to marry someone who's older than my wife. How am I supposed to digest that? And the counsellor asks, is age the biggest problem? And guys, let me answer this, because each and every week, in my comments, people round on me for being ageist. Age is not the only problem in this relationship. I mean, I do believe that number 1 is age. But number 2 is the fact that Jenny's a born liar. Number 3 is the fact that Sumit had to get divorced to be with Jenny again, thus ruining somebody else's life in the process. Number 4 is the family structure, which I've spoken about on many occasions in my videos. The son and daughter-in-law are supposed to look after the parents in old age. How can that happen when Jenny is older than the parents? And number 5 is, at some point Jenny will pass on and she'll leave Sumit all on his own. And number 6 is societal ostracisation. Family members and friends alike, and just the Indian community at large, will look down on this relationship, and that poses a problem for the parents. So it isn't just the age that is the problem. There are a whole host of problems that go with Jenny. And that's before we even get to Jenny and who Jenny actually is. To be honest, even if my granddad brought Jenny home, I'd be extremely unhappy. Her age is a bit part player, a very minor role when you consider her gullibility and her idiocy. Who sells a house and spends the proceeds waiting for a sociopath and a pathological liar who lives in another country to get divorced? Who cashes their pension in early? She only had 6 years to go. Why not just wait? It's Jenny's decision-making processes that also make Jenny a problem. And so then the counsellor said, I agree the age difference is quite big, but you must find some sort of solution. Oh, counsellor, surely that's why you're here. They know they need to find some sort of solution. They're hoping that you might help them do so. Guys, I'm side-eyeing this counsellor. And so for those of us who weren't already aware, the counsellor explains to production, for Indians, age is a big thing. Because this is the one thing we cannot change. Oh my love, you can't change age anywhere in the world. Well, I say that, I suppose you can in Hollywood, but nowhere else. If that's the sum total of your wisdom, I'd rather think we're all wasting our time here. She also explains that Jenny must prepare herself for cultural changes. She's been living in India for over a year. She knows the culture. And she has, to all extents and purposes, made the changes that it's possible for her to make. Guys, I'm beginning to believe that this counsellor is sort of a waste of money. I was going to try and refrain from saying this, but come through, Dr. Kirk. Yet again, you're needed. And back in the session, Sumit's dad asks, what happens if you guys split up in 10 years' time? In some ways, this made me realise that Jenny has assimilated to Indian culture quite well because she seems to understand quite a lot of Hindi. And so Jenny jumped in and said to Sumit, after you, there's nobody else. I won't care. Oh, good Lord, Jenny. That's fantastic. That settles it, then off you go. And it just goes to show, guys, how self-centered Jenny is. Sumit's dad isn't asking you how you'll feel. They're interested in what their son's life will look like if you split up in 10 years. But I guess while we're on the subject, Jenny, what will happen to you? Where will you go? With whom will you live? And it's just unbelievable to me. Jenny only thinks about, who will I be sleeping with? I won't want any other man. I only want Sumit. She has one of the worst cases of centration I've ever known. But his mum jumps in quite quickly and she said, well, if you like being on your own, stay alone now then. And his dad stifles a laugh. And his mum articulated what his dad was unable to. What about you, Sumit? What will happen to you if you split up in 10 years? And Sumit said, well, I won't want anyone else. I'll be 50 by then. But I've got to admit, he does have quite a worried look on his face, as if he's never considered this. And Jenny said, 50 isn't old. You'll still be a young guy. Oh, Jenny, just because you decide to chat shit, it doesn't make it true. And Sumit's parents say there are no old age homes here. The wife and the kids look after the husband. And Sumit looks slightly worried about what's being said. But guys, don't worry. Jenny knows what she thinks. She said, I don't like this counsellor. This counsellor's not doing any good. Oh, Jenny, of course you don't like this counsellor. Guys, Jenny always thinks that things are dog shit if she doesn't get her own way. And Sumit said, I don't want to give up the life I have now. What life's that, Sumit? A life of laziness? Access to Jenny's pension? The TLC checks? What exactly is it that you don't want to give up? And then Sumit the socio decides to go rogue and he decides to full-on button push. And guys, I'm not quite sure why at this point. I'm still pondering on that, but there is a reason though. Low-key, it's actually a worry that Summit's doing stuff that I can't quite work out. But I digress. Sumit says, I'm doing well with my life at the moment, with my health, with everything that I'm doing. Mum, Dad, I'm doing what you always wanted me to do. And I am what you wanted me to be. Sumit, why are you saying this? It's like he's got a death wish, guys. I literally can't repeat what he was saying without actually wetting myself. You're doing what your mum and dad always wanted you to do. You're doing well with your life. What about your career, Sumit? Nobody, literally nobody wants Sumit to do what he's currently doing. Not his mum, not his dad, not his brother, not his ex-wife. Not even Jenny's daughters, or not any of the 90-day Fiance viewers. Literally nobody. But Sumit's mum's about to explode, and she said, did I want you to marry Jenny? Is that what I really wanted? And Sumit said, Mum, don't get angry. You can express your feelings, but say it calmly. Ah, guys, and now we have it. That's why Sumit wanted to rile her. He wanted to get her to shout. He wanted to get her to yell, but luckily she didn't fall into the trap. And his mum said, I'm not angry, I'm just worried. So guys, this was it. This is why Sumit wanted to button push. He's such a little worm. And then the counsellor said, you must all listen to each other. If no one listens, then your love will not reach each other. Oh, counsellor, we've all about had enough of your pearls of wisdom, and we need this to be much more structured. And the counsellor continued, we shouldn't let a little thing like this mean that we can't be in the same room together. Counsellor, nobody wants to be in the same room as you because you chat rubbish. And then she finished up with, if we keep on working in the same way, then we get the same result. Guys, it's the counsellor's version of the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. It's official, you're rubbish, Sumit wants his money back and we all want our time back. And at this point I'm beginning to think that her psychotherapy degree was perhaps purchased online. Maybe an Amazon ebook with a shit we already know flip book. But then it seems Sumit's mum has got a great brainwave, yet another one. And his mum said, well, marriage can't happen until I see that she can be the Indian daughter-in-law. I will teach her. And guys, they're proposing to move in with Sumit and Jenny for a few months so that Sumit's mum can see if she can make a good wife for Sumit and if she can cook and clean and keep house. And this will all be, of course, to Sumit's mum's standards. Oh, no. Jenny, it's official, you're finished. But the Ebird has several questions for Sumit's mum. Number 1, have you written out a clear syllabus? Number 2, what's the marking criteria for these standards? Number 3, who will take responsibility for grading the practical work? And number 4, if that's you, is your decision final? And guys, if the answers to these questions are as I imagine, and I think they probably are, let's just cut out the middleman and I'll let Jenny know now. You failed, fucking miserably. You scored a score so low that there'll be no opportunity for you to retake. Now get on your toes and do one as quickly as possible. Scarper, make yourself scarce. Thank you. Oh Jenny, this has only been set up for you to fail. And fail you will. And Summit's mum lets us all know the marriage can't happen until I see that she can be an Indian daughter-in-law. And his mum said we'll move into your house for a few months. And Jenny said to production, not just no, but hell no. Hell no. Guys, this is Jenny's hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hello. 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 Hello? Oh, hello. Come on in. Because you know very well she's going to do it. Japanese knotweed Jen will do anything to ensnare reluctant Sumit. And his mum said if she makes a good daughter-in-law, then I'll think about their marriage. And Summit's busy trying to convince Jenny this is a good idea. And he says they're giving us a chance. Oh, Sumit, no they're not. They're expediting Jenny leaving and she knows it. But Sumit the simpleton is very happy. He says now he can prove to his parents how he's living and how happy he is. And when Jenny tries to tell him that his mum's just being negative, he said, well, she might be, but I don't really see it. I think it's a positive sign. Sumit, how can it be? Your mum and dad are sitting on the sofa opposite, giving your so-called fiancé death stares. She's not just on a dodgy one, she's pretty much finished. And Sumit turns to his parents with a flourish and said, you are most welcome. Let's plan for it. Come and stay for a few months. And with that, they end their meeting. And the next time we see these guys, Sumit is taking Jenny to somewhere called Monkey Temple. And guys, they're sitting on a bench and there's wild monkeys just literally hopping around everywhere. It's fairly disconcerting. But I suppose monkeys running wild will get them ready for the monkey business that Summit's mum's going to be on with. And Sumit explains to Jenny, my mum will teach you Indian culture. And Jenny said, no, she's coming to make my life a living hell. She wants to run me out of India. I've got a problem with someone in my home telling me what to do. Sumit, I think you're asking a little bit too much of me. And Jenny said, why can't you just marry me? And Sumit said, let's see how this test goes. And Jenny tells him, I know her intentions are not good. And right on cue, the monkeys decide to attack them. And so they leave. And guys, I'm low-key scared of the monkeys, but not as scared as I am of Summit's mum. And that's where we end things for this review. Guys, this has gone on a little bit too long, so what I'm going to do is split this video into 2. So if you wait just a little while, part 2 will be coming up. And so what do I make from all of this? Well, I think how happy Sumit is goes to show that Summit's hoping things will just kind of go wrong, so he can lengthen out this time before he decides to finally tell Jenny he's not going to marry her and she inevitably goes home. I think he's happy with the status quo at the moment and is going to drag his heels for as long as he can without actually saying, I do. And as we know, Sumit does manage in the end to convince Jenny to let his mum and dad move in. But I think Jenny should have said, absolutely not, I'm going to put my foot down, and waited to see what Sumit would say. At some point, Jenny needs to learn to stick to her guns. If Sumit said, well, I can't marry you then, that's absolutely fine, let me go. And Jenny should tell Sumit, I've been married before. I've raised my own children, my own family. I know how to keep house. If your mum wants me to learn some Indian recipes, no problem whatsoever. She can pop over at will and teach me how to cook Indian cuisine. There's no problem with that, but I don't need someone in my house morning, noon and night. So guys, let me know what you think. Obviously it's going to be an unmitigated disaster. It's obvious his mum just wants to run Jenny out of town. And perhaps at the same time point out to Sumit this is not the kind of wife you really want. And all the while simultaneously letting Jenny know we will never ever accept you, you will never be good enough. But I also think on Sumit's behalf it's another great postponing technique. And I think when Sumit was trying to rile his mum up and say this is how you wanted me to live, this is how you wanted me to be, that was all performative just for Jenny. So he could try and pretend to Jenny that he was sticking up for her in front of his parents. And also, two birds with one stone, he also wanted to bring his mum out of her character and try and make her scream and shout. And you could see she was angry, but she managed to refrain from actually blowing up. Jenny said just last week, I can't keep threatening to leave. At some point, I've actually got to leave. Jenny, this is that time. This is when you do it. Now's the time to leave. So guys, let me know your thoughts in comments down below, and I'm going to get on with the other half of this video, and hopefully that will also be up today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And also, don't forget to press the notification bell, so when the second half of this video comes up, you guys are not going to miss it. Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.